Hello friends, today we have to start with the third module, and this third module consists of the households, the household, right. In this particular module we have to cover certain things such as the indifference curve approach, right. This particular approach developed by Hicks and Allen, that is called ordinal measurement of utility, is slightly differ from the cardinal measurement of utility what Marshall already developed. And second, after knowing the concept of indifference curve analysis, inside that we have to enter into what is the meaning of the indifference curve, properties of indifference curve, budget line. Thereafter, how the consumers obtain its equilibrium. Then we have to take into account what is income effect, substitution effect and your price effect. How price effect is to be decomposed into income and substitutions effect. Thereafter, the next concept we have to cover in this model, that is called as the how the demand curve is derived from the price consumption curve, and later on we have to take into account the concept that is the different applications of it, such as the how the wage and the labor supply is to be related to each other, that the wage and leisure, right, consumptions and leisure. Then we have to take into account the relationship between the rate of interest and the household saving, right. So, how the rate of interest and household saving, that is a trade off. Actually, we have to study this particular topic, this particular lesson on the basis of the 10 principles. One of the 10 principles is to be the consumer always face a trade off. While he consuming the thing, he also face a trade off, and that concepts comes under here inside the households, right. Here we have to start with the first concept, that is called the budget line or budget constraints. Budget line or is called the budget constraint. So, what is that budget constraint? Actually, the trade off, what the trade off, the people always face the trade off while they are consuming different bundle of commodities, and that particular trade off we have to demonstrate it with the help of your budget line, with the help of a curve, that is called the budget frontier also we, like in case of your production possibility curve. Here it will be the combinations of the what are the different possible combinations that the consumer will consume with a given money income and price of the commodities, and that is your line. It is a locus of points which consists of that the consumer must have to be spent a constant amount, that means his income is to be fixed. Let assuming the consumer income is to be, let us say income is to be, let us say 1000 rupees. So, 1000 rupees is the income of that particular consumer, and the consumer will going to consume two products. One is called as let us say fish, and another one the mango. There are two products. Let us say the fish is to be treated as the good X and mango to be treated as the good Y, that the two products are there, and the price per piece of mango is given, as well as the price piece of that is called the fish also be given. The price of fish is to be, let us say assuming is the rupees 10, and price of mango is to be assuming it is rupees 2. Now, how the consumer will spend his entire money income, that is called as the 1000 rupees on the both the commodities in such a manner to be spent, so that the intention of the consumer the maximization satisfaction. That is the latter part we have to cover, how which particular combination provide the consumer maximum amount of satisfaction. किंतु बर्तमान आम कौन करवा ना केमिति तार 1000 टंका को से दुईटा प्रोडक्ट रे स्पेंड करुच्ची, दैट इज द हाउ ही फेस द ट्रेड ऑफ बिटवीन द दैट इज द फिश एज वेल एज योर मैंगो, how much of fish and how much of mango he is going to be consumed. Let us assuming it, suppose this is the number of the times he is to be consuming it. Let us say number of fish to be consumed and number of mango and money spent on fish and spent on mango, because the addition of this must be equals to 1000, right. Let us say we take into account different combination 3, 4, 5, like that way you have to proceed, right. Now, if you take, he spent the entire income on fish. If you spend the entire income on fish, tell me how many how many fish is going to be consumed? That means 1000 divided by 10, it will be 100, right. So, that means 0 unit of the mango is going to be consumed and 100 unit of fish will be consumed, and thereby his spend on fish is to be 1000 and that of mango is to be 0, addition is to be 1000. In such a manner, the consumer going to be spent on the two product, that is called the fish and mango, so as to it to be 1000 rupees, the entire money income going to be spent. Let us say the second combinations, let us say we spend 90 units on it, that means he purchases 90 amount of the fish, the number of units will be 90, of the 90 fish is to be consuming, then how much it will be spent? Now 900 it will be going to be spent, because per piece is to be 10 rupees, 90 means 900. Now how many left? Now 100 tons, because addition is to be 1000. If he spent 100 on mango, then how many mango is going to be consumed? You are going to be consumed 50 mangoes, because per piece of mango is to be 2 rupees. Similarly, we take the next combinations, 80, it will be 800, then how many remaining? 200. If you spend 200 on this, that is a 100 unit of mango is going to be consumed. Similarly, if we try to consuming 70 units of fish, you spend 700, remaining 300 to be here and it will be 150. It will be 60, that means 600 and it will be the 400. If the 400 means it turns to be 200 unit of mango. And if you take into account 50, let us say 50 means how many? 500, remaining 500 it will be there, 500 means 250, and the seventh one, let us say it is the 40, it will be 400, if it is the 600 then it turns to be 300, and 8th unit it will be going to be consumed 8th time the combinations, let us say it will be assuming it will be 30, it turns to be 300, I mean it with 700 it is 350, and the 9th one if it is to be, let us say assuming it to be 20, I mean it with the 200, remaining 800 to be consumed spent on mango, and you will going to be consuming 4 into 100 unit of mango, and 10th unit let us say here is spent 100 rupees, 900 rupees on mango, I mean he consuming 450 units of mango. Let us say at the extreme end of it is spent 0 unit on fish, that means 0 unit on fish, the 0 rupees to be spent on fish, then how many mango will be spent? Obviously the rest of the amount, the 1000 unit going to be spent on mango. If you spend mango, then how many mango will be consumed? Now 500 mango will be consumed. তাহলে এটি আমি কোন দেখুছে না ডিফরেন্ট কম্বিনেশন বিভিন্ন প্রকার ট্রেড অফ দেখুছে either finding it this particular combination, this combination, this combination, କୋଉ combination ଟା ସେ କିଣିବ, but ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଏଠି ମାର୍କ କର, that means while you take into account the plotting all the things, if you plot all the bits of it, let us say for example here on this is called the mango and this is your fish, right. We put on horizontal axis that we take into account x as the fish and the vertical axis that is your mango. Now, in which way it will be spent? Let us start with the first bit. If the first combination shows you these two combinations, not necessary to put all the combinations, you know to put this one, these two things in order to finding out the line. And here is to be 0, 100, that means 0 unit of your mango and 100 unit of your fish. Let assuming it to be 100 unit of fish. And at this combinations, 11th combinations that to be 500 and 0. When we join these 2 points, we find a line. We find a line that is called as the budget line or the price line. Okay. आम जदि जेकोसी गोटे इंटरमीडिएट पॉइंट गोटे नहीं जिबा लेट फॉर एग्जांपल आम नबा 250 let's say the 250 right this one and corresponding to that it to be the 50 is there. At this particular point he spent 1000 rupees, that means he spent 250 unit of your mango, 250 unit in mango into 2, that is about 500, and he purchased 50 unit of your fish, 50 into 10, that is the 500, addition of that has to be 1000. So, this is the combination it will be consuming, let assuming it. Now, if you take in account it will reduces, if you try to consuming more unit of your fish, that means if you consume from 50 to 60 unit of fish, if you try to consume the 60 unit of fish, right, if you consume some amount extra additional amount of the fish, you will going to sacrifice some amount of your mango. Then how much mango will be consumed at this point? That 200 unit of mango will be consumed. If you consume some extra unit of fish, definitely you have to be sacrifice some amount of mango. That means there is a trade off is to be takes place. If you are consuming more of a particular things, other must be reduces. Now, considering that if you take in account the movement from this particular point to this particular point, what will be the slope of it? Then how to find this particular slope? Now, slope means we know tan of this particular things. Tan of this particular thing means P by B, right, perpendicular divided by base. P by B means कितने unit of से change करछे ना मो 500, that means minus 50 divided by 10, I mean it to be the 5, that is your slope of the budget line or the price line. Slope of the budget line or the price line, how much we find? It is a minus 5. That means he will going to be sacrifice 5 units of your what mango if you try to purchase 1 extra unit of fish. ମୁଁ ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ extra fish କିଣିବି ତାହେଲେ ମୋତେ 5ଟା mango को sacrifice କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ. So that is to be treated as the slope of the price line. If we take the numerically, this is the graphic, I mean you put the term all the things in the alphabetically, I mean your numerically we provide the term assuming that consumer's income is to be 1000 rupees, the price that is the consumer going to be consume two type of product, one is called the fish, second one is called the mango, price of fish per unit to be 10 rupees, that of mango is to be 2 rupees. Now we prepare different combinations, so that the entire 1000 rupees is going to be spent and how much unit of fish and how much unit of mango is going to be consuming. By joining all these points, we find a line that is called the budget line or the price line or budget constraint. Never the consumer, I mean consume ever, that means over this one, right. He can cross this one because it is the limit 1000 rupees, he can cross it. If he consume inside this triangle, that tells us he will spend I mean he will spend the less than his complete income. That means he is not going to spend the entire income if he consuming anything in between this particular triangle. The only one possible is to be spent all the income on this particular price line. He can move on this particular price line, but the point is that if we try to consuming some extra unit of fish, definitely have to sacrifice some amount of mango and vice versa, right. So, what do we find here? Now, slope of the price line is to be 5. That means you will sacrifice the 5 unit of mango, you need to purchase 1 extra unit of what that is called as the fish. Now, if we take into account, let us say your income increases, then what, in which way it affect the price line? If income fall, then how the price line to be changes. Similarly, if you take into account the price of mango and price of fish will be changes. If the price of fish to be increases, then what happened to the price line? Mango price to be remains constant. In the same way, price of fish to be constant, price of mango to be changes, then how we have to change the price line. Now we have to show those sort of movement of the price line. Okay. Let us say the price line is given as like this. This is your mango and this is your fish. And initially we know this is the point as the 500, and this is your, let us say, what is the amount is to be given to you, 500 and 100 0, this is the 100 and 0, and this to be 0 500. These are the two extreme ends are there. By joining this line, we find the price line as the PL, or it is called, let us assuming it the PL, or you can put any number with that, AB or something else. The price, as I cited the price line, therefore it is written as the PL. Where this particular line it will be traced considering the income is to be 1000, price of face is this, that means if you spend entire income on your face, how many unit going to be face consumption it will be 100. Similarly, if it is a 1000, the price of this is to be 2, I mean mango is to be 2, when you are dividing it, it will be 500. These are the two extreme points are there. By joining these 2 points, we have to trace the price line as PL. Now, if you represent it, suppose your income is to be increases, let us say income instead of your 1000, it turns to be 2000. If income is to be 2000, then what happened to the price line? Definitely the number of fish and number of mango definitely to be increases, कारण आम देखुचे price of mango and price of fish to be remains constant. जितेबेले आमर income बढ़ी जाउची तारे price line कौन हबो ना, price line it to be shifted upward parallelly. This is the P1 L1, price line shifted upward parallelly if the money income of the consumer to be increases. That means if you divide the 10 by this, we find it is the 200. Similarly, this divided by this is to be, let us say, the 1000. That means the point turns to be the, it is the 1000, this to be 200. That means when we are joining it, we find then a new price line which is to be above the old price line. That reflect that when the income of the consumer increases, provided the price of fish and price of mango to be remains constant, price line shifted upward parallelly. Exactly in the same manner, if the money income is to be changes, let us say instead of 1000 it turns to be the 500. If the money income to be reduces, the price line is to be shifted parallelly down way. Let us say to be the P0 L0. That means the price line shifted down way parallelly. What we find? Now, when the money income of the consumer increases, price line shifted parallelly upway. When the money income of the consumer to be reduces, price line shifted parallelly, provided that price of fish and price of mango to be remains constant. Okay. Now, suppose income to be fixed, let assuming right now income is fixed as this is the 1000, let assuming it the price of fish to be changes and price of mango to be remains constant. Now, we are to assuming price of fish changes, but that of mango to be remains constant. Then what, in which way it affect the price line? This is your fish and this side is your mango. Initially it is the 500 and 100, as you know this is the price line PL. Now, suppose the price of fish instead of rupees 10, let us say the price of fish it to be reduces, price of fish reduces from 10 rupees to the 5 rupees, whereas price of mango to be remains constant at 2, income to be remains constant as 1000. If income 1000, mango price is to be rupees 2, definitely going to be consumed 500, this is the same, that is there is no changes of this particular point, it remains constant as P. Now, if the price of fish to be reduces from 10 rupees to the 5 rupees and money income to be remains constant, initially to be consumed 100 unit of fish, right now how many unit of fish is going to be consumed? Now 200 unit of fish is going to be consumed. That means this particular point it will be shifted from here to here. Now, when we join these two new points, we find a new price line that is called the PL, PL1, PL initially, right now PL1. That means when price of X fall, that is called the price of fish fall, price of mango remains constant, that in that case price line move upway, that means it will be shift from PL to PL1. If you take, instead of you falling the price, let us say the price of fish to be increases from 10 rupees to the 20 rupees. If the price of x to be, instead of, that is the price of fixed piece, instead of a falling, right now it will be increased from 10 rupees to the 20 rupees, then how many unit will going to be consumed? That means 20 in the sense 1000 divided by 20. How much? That means it will be going to be consumed 50 units of his L0, you are going to be consumed 50 unit of his. Then what is the new price line? The new price line to be PL0. So, when the price of fish to be increases, price line shifted upway. When price of fish to be reduced, I mean reduces is shifted upway, if it is increase, it will move downway. Okay. In the same pattern, we can change the mango positions also. If you alter the point, let us say mango price to be fluctuated, then how it will going to be affect the price line. In the same pattern we can do it. Let us say I will be putting it here, this is your fish and this side is your mango. Initially let us say assuming this is your PL. Now if the price of mango is to be increases, then it will be moved from PL to PL0. When the price of mango it will be reduces, then it will be increases from PL to the PL1. That means here what you find, when the price falls it shift right way, when the price fall it shift move up way, when price rise move down, price rise move down. Got it? So, this is the three different alternative situations how the price line or the budget line to be changes with the change in income and change in price of the commodities. If you take initially income increases, price of x and price of y to be remains constant, that is the fish and mango to be remains constant. In second case we take into account income to be fixed, price of mango is to be increase or decrease. In the third case we take into account price of mango to be fixed, fish price to be increase or decrease along with the constant money income, how the price line to be changes. Then after knowing the whole thing of it, let us say we have to explain in algebraically. Let us imagine it money income, income is to be M, that the two goods are going to be consumed, good X and good Y. Instead of your fish and mango we take into account good X and good Y, price of X and price of Y is there. Then what is the, in which way you represent that particular price line in the algebraically? The price line is to be M that equals to XPX plus YPY. This is the budget constraint equation, XPX plus YPY. Now, how will we trace it? In order to trace the price line, let us say this is the good Y and this is the good X. Suppose the consumer consume 0 unit of good X, good X becomes 0. If we consume good X to be 0, that means this X price to be 0, X amount is to be 0. If this X to be 0, this vanishes, then how much Y will be going to be consumed? Now Y that equals to M by PY, M by PY. So this to this is to be M by PY, this is the point, let assuming it. Similarly, if you take the good Y equals to 0, then how much of good X is going to be consumed? Now X becomes M by PX. So this is the point, let us say this to this is called as the M by Px. Now when we join these 2 points, we find the price line that is called the PL, and this is the budget constraint and this is the equation of this particular budget constraint. Then what is the slope of the budget line? Now in order to find the slope of budget line or the price line, we take this as a right angle triangle. My target is to be slope of this particular straight line, and let us say it is the theta. My target is to be slope, finding out the slope. Slope means tan of theta, that means OP divided by OL. What is OP? Why it is OP? Because the perpendicular divided by base, OP by OL, and OP is how much? Now M by PY. What about the OL? Now M upon PX. When you simplify, it is nothing but the price of X upon price of Y. So the slope of price line is nothing but, or the budget line is nothing but the price of X upon price of Y. When you are dividing the two prices price of x by the price of y, we find that is called the slope of the budget line or the slope of the price line. As you take into account the mango and your fish case, in that case what you find, the price of mango is to be 10 rupees, price of fish to be 50 rupees. When you are dividing it, you find 5 unit. That means, we have to sacrifice 5 unit of mango in order to increase 1 unit of fish. So, that is to be nothing but the slope of the price line or the slope of the budget line. Then after knowing the whole concept, what is the this is outcome of your, let us say, the 10 principles of economics we already know in the first unit, in the first model, and we face the all type of trade off undertaken by the producers or it be consumers. But this particular module is related to the consumers and how a consumer face different type of trade off while he is going to be consuming the product, and that particular trade off is to be explained with the help of this budget line or budget constraint. कहीं एटा दिखाई कहीं आमको constant money income टा constant रहिला आ price of x and price of y to be changes करछे किंबा the let assuming it to be remains constant. As in our case we take the example, money income consumer थिला 1000 rupees, price of fish थिला 50 rupees and price of mango थिला 2 rupees. Taking into account, we find different type of combinations that the consumer may be purchase, that the different trade off, any combination he can consuming, right. And by plotting that particular things, we find a line that is called the budget line or it is called the price line. And after that, we have to finding out the slope of the price line. Then what the slope of the price line to be represent? Now, slope of the price line, it represented how much of a particular good will be sacrificed in order to increase another goods. When you get the goods, let us say get the amount of mango sacrifice kala ame gote fish extra kini pariba, that to be represented as the slope of the price line. Or in the other way, in algebraically while you show it, it is nothing but the ratio between the prices. Ditanga price को हमें जब divide करता है, either take the case of the same case that the price of mango is 50 and the price of let us say the price of fish is to be 50 and that of mango is to be, let us say, to be 2 rupees, right. By considering that, we have to finding out a particular terms and how much of mango will going to be sacrificed, and it will take 10 terms to be that, when the how much will be sacrificed, that the 5. That means, we have to sacrifice 5 number of mangoes in order to consuming 1 extra unit of fish, that to be represented by this particular terms, price of x upon the price of y, right. So, this is the way to explaining the term what is called the budget line and price line. In the coming class, we start with the term what is called as the indifference curve. Thank you for today.